medium board, I think it looks like it has less numbers, which is good. I want to get some complicated logic problems going. Let's go ahead and do our given easy ones like I talked about. And as you can see, we got a 9 missing here. That's not a 9, so this has to be the 9. These two rows are full. This one already has a 9 right here, so that has to be a 9. This one here is either there or there. And okay, go backwards from 9. We've got 8s here, and it's going to be no help. 7s, we have 2 7s, that's not going to help. 6s, we have skip the 6s, there's nothing to help there. 5s, we have 5 here, here, and here, so this is going to be right here. And that is almost, yeah, that's all for the 5s, I think. Yeah. 4s are going to be no help, which is good. It's going to be fairly difficult. And 3s are going to be no help, and 2, this is going to be pretty hard actually. It looks like. The 1s especially, big empty gap here. There's 3 possibilities. Only 1 marked out, so it leaves 2 possibilities there. Okay. Alright, whatever. I don't know what I'm talking about. Let's get on with some logical problems here. Let's see. What has the least left in it? We've got a lot of squares that only have 4 missing. So you have to look at the crosses and see what would help us out the most there. Let's look at this square. Got a 1, 2, 6, 7 missing. No, this is not a 1 here. It's a 1 is here or here. No, that's not the 6. That's not a 2 either, because we got a 2 in this one. So this is a 6 and a 7 in these 2 squares. And a 1 and a 2 is in these 2 squares. Because this 1 and this 2 is blocked out this row. Okay, here's what we do. We know a 6 and a 7 is in these 2 squares. We know this row is full of 6s. We know this row is full of 6s. So this blue square, we know the 6 for this square is going to be here or here. So once we place it, when we figure out what it is later on, we don't know what it is right now, but we know that this square is going to be, or this row is going to be blocked out with 6s. It's going to have a 6 blocking it later on. So that leaves this square to be the 6. And since we know it's a 6 or a 7 here, that's going to leave this one to be a 7. So now all we have is a 1 and a 2 in these 2 squares, which we don't know which ones they are yet. Let's look at this row. We've got a 1, 2, missing a 3, 4, and an 8. Now we know that this row already has a 3 and a 4. So this one has to be an 8. Now a 3 and a 4 is going to be here. We don't know what order. Let's look at this white square. We just put the 8 in since that left us with only 3. We've got a 2, 6, and a 7 left. We know that's not going to be a 2 because that's blocked out, which means that has to be the 2. It's the only one left. And we know we've got a 6 and a 7 here. We don't know what order. But we're limiting down our options. So we've got a 3 and a 4 here, 6 and a 7 here. We've got a 1 and a 2 down here. And since we added this 2, we know that's not a 2 now, so that has to be a 1. And that has to be a 2. So we've completed this square. And now that we have this 1, and we have this 1 in this row, and this row has a 1, and this row has a 1, the middle square has to be a 1. The only option left. We know there's an 8 in this middle row. We know that's not it. It's either there or there, because this row and this row have already been done. We also know that there's a 5 in one of these spots because there's a 5 in the same situation. Let's look at this middle row. We've got a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, missing a 6, 7, and an 8. We've got a 6 here in this row. Can't be a 6 here. Can't be an 8 here because this square already has an 8. This actually has to be a 6. In this middle row, we have a 6 row and a 6 row. And a 6 row going this way. So the only one left here is there. That's a 6. Since we know this can't be a 6 now, then it has to be a 7, and this has to be the 6. So we finished that square. Now this row, the only thing left is the 8. So we're going to put that there. Every time you add some numbers like this, you need to go back and redo all your givens and make sure there's not any more easy numbers left to place. What would be a good number to work? Let's look at this row right here. We've got a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, missing a 7 and a 9. Since that 7 is there, that's got to be a 9. And that's got to be a 7. Let's look at this square. It's not going to be a lot of help because there's pretty empty squares out here. We're missing a 2, 3, 4, 7, and a 9. We know that's not a 2, that's not a 7, that's not a 9, and either one of those, or that, or that. Ah! So this row has a 9. That's got to be the 9. So now we've got left a 2, 3, 4, and a 7. Neither one of those is a 7, and that one can't be a 7 because of this 7. So that means that's got to be the 7. Left with a 2, 3, and a 4. What can we deduce? 2, 3, and 4. And there's nothing to help us out here. There's got to be a way we can figure this out. We know these two have a 3 and a 4. Whatever it is going to block out the 3 and the 4 on this side. And we're also missing our 2 for this row. So, we have 3 and a 4 here. We're going to have a 3 and a 4 and a 2 here. Since we don't deal in guessing, we could presume that the 3 and the 4 is most likely to be up here, since those are going to be blocking out these rows, and that would make that a 4 and that a 3. But we don't want to assume yet, because that'll really screw you up and you have to go back. Okay, let's look at this row. We got a 9 row and a 9 row and a 9 row, so that means the 9 has to be there. We got a 7 row, 7 row, 7 row here. It's going to put that 7 there. 7 row, 7 row, 7 row is going to be there. It's going to block out these two and that one, which leaves 7 in this column there. And I think that is all the 7s. Yeah, we're done with the 7s. This row, now that we've got that filled in, we're only left with a 2, 4, and a 5. You know, the 4 is not there and the 2 is not there because they've already been filled in, so that's got to be the 5. So we got a 2 and a 4 over here somewhere. 2 and a 4. What did we say earlier? We got an 8 and a 5. It's got to be in this row. So that's got to be a 5 and an 8 in these two, because these two have to be a 2 and a 4. So if we got a 5 already here, that's got to be the 8. That's got to be the 5. So now we're left with a 2 and a 4 here, a 1 and a 3 left in these two. And that's already got a 1 there, so that's going to be the opposite, 1 and 3. And we're left with a 2 and a 4. This square is almost filled up. We got a 2, a 6, and an 8 missing. 6 and an 8 are already there, so that's got to be a 2. So we got a 6 and an 8 here, some order. Okay, we got a 1 here since we placed that in that row. And this row already has a 1. That's got to be a 1. That's going to leave this over here to be a 1 because of these two 1s. And I think that has placed all of the 1s. Yes, it has. Okay. Since we have a 2 and a 2 and a 2 blocking these out, that's got to be a 2. And in this row we have a 3 and a 4 missing as well. Since we got a 3 here, that's got to be the 4. That's got to be a 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and an 8 are missing. Let's look at this row here. We got a 1, 2, missing a 3, 7, missing an 8, and a 3. I already got an 8 right there, so that's got to be a 3. And that's got to be an 8. So this row is completed. That leaves that being a 5. It's the only thing left. We know that this row and this row already has an 8. So we've got an 8 either here or here. And we know that this can't be a 6, so we're going to have a 6 and either here or here in this blue square. So since that can't be a 6, because we're going to fill it in later, it has to be an 8, which means this one has to be a 6. Now since we've got, everything in this row is done except for the 8, so that has to be the 8. So we're left with a 4, 5, 6 in this blue square. 5 and 6 have already been taken in this row, so that's got to be a 4. We've got a 5 and a 6. I've already got a 5 there, so this has to be a 6. Leaves that with a 5. Shazam!